but because sugar is so addictive, can be the most addictive substance in the world.
The food is not the problem. The issue is the way you use it against yourself. We are surrounded by so much hatred and lack of self-love, and it is very hard to understand that not everybody is going to love you, because most people don't even love themselves. I definitely have body issues. When you come to the realization that everybody does, then you can start to live with the way you are. You can go wherever you decide, but in the end of the day, all you have is yourself. Yes, you. Are you really going to spend your whole life like that, feeling the wrong shape and the wrong weight in the wrong skin?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Oh no!
My name is Aneliya, and I'm a sugar addict.
The three T's is trauma, toxins, and thoughts, being physical, chemical, and emotional balance, right? We've probably heard about this before. So it's a bit like a three-legged chair. And if you take one of the legs and chop it off, there's going to be effects on the other things, as we know. So when we study health and when we talk about health, it's really bringing it to another place than when you speak about just symptoms and what can we take for that symptom, right? Because why do you have that symptom, you know? So we can do a few things like that. We can do your blood pressure, your weight, toxins. Toxins is could be a food that you're allergic to, for example. So we'll do the food intolerance and allergy test for you as well when we're doing a bioresonance scan. You can look at food groups that are not good for you. And so that's toxins, you know, bringing the toxicity levels into the body. It's what you eat. If you eat sugar, it's very toxic to us, right? So sugar can really be one of those things that causes acidity in the body, and it is everywhere. Now, those microorganisms, they need very specific nutrition. One of the worst nutritional factors that we have is sugar again, because what does it do? It feeds the wrong bacteria. Now, the bacteria is our immune system. It's what protects us, it's our defense. We did thermal imaging for you. Thermal imaging is looking at heat patterns in your body, it's looking at the vascularity. So if there's inflammation in an area, or even if the organ on the inside has an inflammation, they send their messages through the nerve roots that is then sending another message to the skin patch that's associated with the same nerve root. So you're getting a reflex heat pattern that could be related to some inflammation in the organ underneath. Your pictures here from your spine, we saw that there was a bit more heat over your shoulders, and when we examined you, we also found that you had more heat over your upper back. So this is gluten-free, sugar-free, and yeast-free, and also, where you can, dairy-free, so that you're keeping down the acidity of the dairy products in your system right now. So, because it causes acidity in the body. What I'd like you to do is look at your plate, and 3/4 of the plate should always be full of colors. The last quarter could be either that it's meat or fish or protein, right? Or it's a starch source or a carb source. So, and this is what we would like it to be is it's two parts carbohydrates and complex carbohydrates, so vegetables and all that, and one part that is more protein related.
Using your body's electromagnetism to get the information we need. Because every cell, tissue, organ in the body has its own frequency, and any abnormal frequency being seen by any of those areas it will be picked up and it will tell us what it is. We see the weak organs, meaning the organs that are stressed, just for food intolerances. Okay. A food allergy is an immune inflammatory response. So when you eat it, your body will try to fight it with inflammation because it considers it as an enemy.
Okay, let's go sugar-free. Oh, wait. Tell me more about the sugar.
A lot of people kind of think of sugar as just this one kind of big group, but in actual fact there's lots of different types of sugar. One of the types is glucose, and this is actually really good for us. We need this to survive. So this is when carbohydrates are broken down. They provide glucose. They then get taken to our muscles can then use them for energy. So that's a survival need that we have. Fructose, or added sugar, this is when it becomes a problem. You do also get the natural kind of sugars in fruit. Natural, so the body can process them much easier. But things that are, say, like added to breakfast cereals, they're added to bread, all that jazz, no, not very good for us.
What happens in the brain that makes sugary food so hard to resist? Sugar is a general term used to describe classic molecules called carbohydrates, and it's found in a wide variety of foods and drinks. Just check the labels on the sweet products you buy. Glucose, sucrose, maltose, lactose, dextrose, starch are all forms of sugar. So are corn syrup, fruit juice, raw sugar and honey. And sugar isn't just in candies and desserts. It is also added to tomato sauce, yogurt, dried food, flavored water and granola bars. Since sugar is everywhere, it is important to understand how it affects the brain. You take a bite of cereal. The sugar it contains activates the sweet taste receptors part of the taste buds on the tongue. They send signals to the brain, and from there it forks onto many areas of the brain, one of which is the cerebral cortex. Different sections process different tastes: bitter, salty, and in our case, sweet. Here the signal activates the brain's reward system. This system is a series of electrical and chemical pathways across several different regions of the brain. It is a complicated network, but helps answer a simple subconscious question: should I do that again? That warm feeling you get when you're tasting your grandma's chocolate cake is your reward system saying, yeah. And it's not just activated but food. Socializing, sexual behavior and drugs are just other examples of things and experiences that also activate the reward system. But overactivating this reward system kickstarts a series of unfortunate events: loss of control, craving, and increased tolerance to sugar. Let's get back to our bite of cereal. It travels down to your stomach and to your guts, and guess what? There are sugar receptors here too. They are not taste buds, but they do send signals telling your brain that you are full or that your body should produce more insulin to deal with the extra sugar you are eating. The major currency of your reward system is dopamine, an important chemical or neurotransmitter. There are many dopamine receptors in the forebrain, and those dopamine hotspots are a part of our reward system. Drugs like alcohol, nicotine, or heroin send dopamine into overdrive, leading some people to constantly seek that high. In other words, to be addicted. Sugar also causes dopamine to be released, not as violently as drugs. Sugar is rare among foods which raise dopamine levels. Broccoli, for example, has no effect, which probably explains why it is so hard to get kids to eat their veggies. If you rarely eat sugar or don't eat much at a time, the effect is similar to that of a balanced meal. But if you eat too much, the dopamine response does level out. In other words, eating lots of sugar will continue to feel rewarding. In this way, sugar behaves a little bit like a drug. One reason why people seem to feel so hooked on sugary foods. So think about all those different kinds of sugar. Each one is different, but every time any sugar is consumed, it starts a domino effect in the brain that sparks a rewarding feeling. Too much, too often, and things can go overdrive. This is the first day I'm not eating sugar. So I'm not gonna eat any sugar, any added sugar, any sugar supplements or whatever is trying to make something sweeter. The only thing I will continue eating is fruits. In the beginning of the year, I decided that I need to lose some weight, so I just started dieting, and some moment it just became an obsession. What I want to do is to learn myself, to do the things for myself, to be healthy, to be living, to have a real life without thinking all the time about food and sugars and sweets. It's gonna be a little bit hard for me because I really love sweets.
But because sugar is so addictive, it can be the most addictive substance in the world. So if it was going to come onto the market now, it would probably be illegal. It would probably be classed as a poison. We as a society are addicted to sugar. It would be very hard to suddenly say no one's having kind of added sugar, we're not adding it to your food.
The sugar is so bad is because you end up very unhealthy. It's not good for your whole body, the whole nutrition of your body. There is times, yes, we need sugar, but a lot of the time we need to start avoiding it to start having a healthier life.
It can affect the pumping of our heart, so it can affect our heart. Again, if you eat excess of it, you can become resistant to a hormone called leptin. Now this is the hormone that tells our brain we're full, stop eating. So if you become resistant to that, then your brain doesn't know you're full and you keep eating and you keep eating, then you have obesity. And then also the other kind of consequences of obesity you have as well, such as the diabetes and the heart disease, etc. In the brain, the sugar can actually age your cells. So this can be things like getting wrinkles when you're younger, but when it's to do with the brain, when your cells age, it can affect your memory, it can affect your cognitive development, cognitive awareness. So it can actually affect the brain as well. What other things can do? It can affect our liver in the same way as alcohol.
In the morning, if you're having a porridge, instead of putting a spoonful of sugar on it, put a nice little sprinkle of honey onto it. So balance out, take away the sugar, have maybe a replacement of such of honey, a source like that, natural, straight natural product. And I think also in a lot of savoury food, there's a lot of hidden sugar as well that you have to watch out for, especially in sandwiches, in breads, there's sweeteners in your breads.
So what should we eat then? Here's a recipe for a healthy pancake, which I had for breakfast almost every day during this month. It's just so good that I fell in love with it. It's real food and it's so delicious.
So it's really, I think, to watch for sugar, you need to look at the labelling, look at what you're eating, and just be be quite cautious.
It's been a month. Wow, that's really so strange. Basically, I'm really surprised of what happened, because actually I don't think I had a craving for sweets during this month.
Over the past month, we have worked with Aneliya. She has done an amazing job with changing her diet, as well as she has received chiropractic adjustments. She initially had a lot of tension in her back, rotations in her spine, and joints that were not functioning as they should. Now she has very good spinal movement, and there is a huge improvement in her muscular tension and alignment of the spine. The changes she made in the diet has made her gastric area less inflamed. She has better bowel movements, and we can see on the thermal imaging scans, both from the back and from the abdomen, that there's been an improvement and a huge improvement in her health.
The best day of your life is the one on which you decide your life is your own. No apologies or excuses. If you can learn to stop expecting impossible perfections in yourself and others, you may find the happiness that has always eluded you. The gift is yours. It is an amazing journey, and you alone are responsible for the quality of it. This is the day your life really begins.